You want answers?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
You want answers?
You have offended my family.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth.
And you have offended Shaolin Temple.
You can't handle the truth.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Radical Rant.
Progesterone profits for pharma prove personal pot production is a priority to protect. Never one to miss the chance for alliteration. Folks, I caught this story yesterday. I was checking out, I am always scanning the news, catching marijuana stories. And every now and then, one will pop up for drugs that aren't cannabis. And this one was from ABC News. And it's not about marijuana, but in a sense it is, because it's really important for us to take a look at how drugs are marketed and sold and protected and patented and copyrighted in our society, in the way that our government functions here, and understand how that could be applied to cannabis if we're not really, really careful. So check this story out from ABC News. Preventing preterm births just got 150 times more expensive now that KV Pharmaceuticals has gained exclusive rights to produce a progesterone shot used to prevent premature births in high-risk mothers. Okay, a shot to prevent preemies. Right? The little, peanut baby, little tiny babies they had spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on if you've got the insurance, if you got the health care.
Ganja John.
You're a preemie?
Yeah.
And see,
look what happens. You one-eyed, one-kidneyed freak.
We do not want to have people not being able to get these shots if they truly need them. To be serious about it here, this is not just a serious risk for the child, but a serious risk for the mother. Okay, so KV Pharmaceuticals now has exclusive rights to produce this shot. Now, although the shot has been available in unregulated form from specialty compounding pharmacies, I didn't even know there was such a thing, but there's such a thing as specialty compounding pharmacies for years at $10 a pop. The Food and Drug Administration recently granted KV Pharmaceuticals sole rights to produce the drug, which will be marketed as Makina. They didn't put an X, a C, or a V in it. Uh-oh, there's something wrong there.
That's
John.
weird.
That's weird. Makina, and cost $1,500 per dose. From $10 to $1,500 per dose. And you don't need just one dose, ladies. An estimated $30,000 total per pregnancy. $30,000 total per pregnancy. For KV Pharmaceuticals, thanks to the exclusive rights granted to them by was that the Food and Drug Administration? The FDA, say you? Yeah, the FDA, the one that we're constantly told that, marijuana hasn't been approved by the FDA as medicine. It needs to get FDA approval. Why? So we can sign it off to Pfizer, sign it off to Monsanto, GlaxoSmithKline, somebody like that, and they can, jack it up from what it should be to, $1,500 an ounce or something? That's the FDA we're supposed to trust? Is this the FDA? Excuse me, Vioxx, Fen-Phen, thalidomide, that FDA? The guy? Yeah, right. Okay. Let me continue from ABC News. Though KV Pharmaceuticals plans to offer financial assistance to low-income households in need of the drug. They're gonna help the poor folks out by reducing it from $1,500 to, $50? Though KV Pharmaceuticals plans to offer financial assistance to low-income households in need of the drug, how private health insurance companies and Medicaid will respond to this price spike remains to be seen, leaving many doctors fearing that access to this treatment will become severely limited or interrupted for those currently mid-treatment. Well, Mrs. Radical used to work in management for a major health insurer whose name rhymes with Boo Boss. Let me answer that question for you. The response will be, hell no, we're not paying for a $1,500 shot that should cost $10. Hell yes, you're going to have to stop your treatments if you can't afford them. Thank you very much. Yeah. And because FDA laws prohibit compounding pharmacies, remember those specialty compounding pharmacies we just learned about? Since FDA laws prohibit compounding pharmacies from making FDA-approved products, doctors will be legally obligated to stop using the cheaper version of this drug, a representative for the company told ABC News. So it's not enough that the progesterone shot that your wife is taking so she doesn't have a premature birth or possibly have some sort of complication in childbirth or have a miscarriage, emotional damage that happens from that. She's taking that pill at $10 a pop. Not only is that going to go up to $1,500 a pop, if doctors got a whole bunch on the shelf still sitting there, he can't give it to you for $10 a pop. He can't even give it to you $1,500 a pop. He's got to get rid of it. It's got to be destroyed. So KV Pharmaceuticals' special patented exclusive rights are protected. We wouldn't want any poor or working class mothers to avoid a high-risk pregnancy, would we? So let's go to the quote again from ABC News. Quote, "I hope I deliver before the new price kicks in," says Devika Ross, age 36, who has been taking the non-branded form of the shot called 17-hydroxyprogesterone caproate for the past 11 weeks. Her first child was born about 3 months premature after a combined 232 days in the neonatal intensive care unit, died from pulmonary hypertension. Okay, so her first kid, 3 months premature, had to spend, 232 days? That was 9 months? 9 months in the neonatal ICU, and then dies from pulmonary hypertension anyway. And all the money and the debt and the bills and the emotional heartache and heartbreak that happens from all of this, from her first kid. She's already lived through that. Now she's sitting there taking this pill for $10 a pill, hoping against hope that she can finally have a child, that she can call her own and love, that can be healthy, born, at 9 months. Finally, she's taking this drug, and some pharmaceutical company here is going to tell her she's got to pay $1,500 for it. And, who knows if she's got insurance, or if she's got insurance, if it's going to cover it. She's crossing her fingers. I sure hope I deliver before the new price kicks in. When Ross became pregnant again this past fall, she was at high risk for another preterm pregnancy and was placed on the progesterone shot 16 weeks into her pregnancy. She is now almost a month further along than she was when her first child was born. So she's 7 months along then, I guess, and she has a good chance of delivering full term. Quote, "My insurance pays for the non-branded shots," the $10 shots, "but I don't know if they would cover it if it cost $1,500 a shot. That doesn't seem fair, especially because not everyone has insurance," end quote, she says. Yeah, not everyone has insurance. In fact, I think it's something like 45 million people in America don't have any form of health insurance. And now, thanks to the new healthcare law, if you can't afford your insurance, you get fined for not having it. Yeah, that's how we treat healthcare in America. And you want to look at me for prescribing and for talking about medical marijuana and giving people the opportunity to, in their own homes, cultivate a house plant that they can produce that can take care or at least alleviate so many problems. They don't even need now, I'm not saying that medical marijuana is going to prevent this childbirth thing. Of course not. The pharmaceuticals, the drugs themselves are not bad. The structure we have built around them, the system that we have that manages cures as if they're a commodity, as if it's some sort of free market where you can say, oh, you know what, I'll choose not to buy this commodity. No, you won't. You will do anything to have a healthy child. You will do anything to save your life or to save the life of a loved one. That's why this particular way that we do capitalism, the way that we market healthcare, is so antithetical to medical marijuana. This is why they are scared of medical marijuana. This is why they fight it. This is why the DEA is up in Montana right now trying to shut down cannabis businesses, because they know medical marijuana is not just some happy plant that helps people and gets them high. Medical marijuana overturns the entire paradigm of healthcare for profit. It overturns the entire idea that I have to go to a man in a white coat and trust some guy with a diploma on his wall to take care of my own health. That nature has provided everything I need to take care of most of my healthcare needs, and with good diet and exercise, and God knows I'm not the guy to preach on that, but with that combined, you can pretty much lead a healthy life. And then in the serious cases where there's a serious disease or a serious injury, that's when Western medicine kicks in. That's when our ability to fix things and give people pills and chemistry to change things, that's where that kicks in. But for maintaining health and wellness, all we need is weed and eating right and exercising and breathing fresh air and getting out in the sunshine and being kind to one another. And medical marijuana completely overturns this KV Pharmaceuticals, FDA, pharmaceutical doctor rehab industrial complex. I know I get a little overblown and hippy-dippy rant here on you, but if you really start looking deep down into it, this is what's going on. We're talking about overturning an entire way of thought. And I've compared this before to the Protestant Reformation. Not to get religious history on you here a little bit, but here we go. When the dominant religion of the time was the Roman Catholic Church and the Holy Roman Empire and Catholicism, the whole idea was that you could not get salvation without going through an intermediary. You had to have a pope who talked to a priest who talked to you. You couldn't directly talk to God. You're just a little person. You couldn't get that close. The Protestant Reformation happened. He nailed it on the wall, and he said, no, I can go directly to my salvation. Now, I'm not criticizing belief one way or the other. What I'm saying is, when that was the dominant paradigm, the idea that you had to go through an intermediary, and somebody challenged that paradigm, challenged the very notion of how the entire society at that time was built, it changed the world. It completely changed the world. And that's what medical marijuana is doing right now. It's changing the way we look at medicine. It's changing the way we look at healthcare. It's changing the way we look at profiting from healthcare. And a lot of people can't handle that. And that's why we continue forward on this mission to try to get this medicine to the people, and why, as we go forward, how this progesterone story, this KV Pharmaceuticals and FDA story, shows to us how important it is to protect the right of home cultivation. Because the only protection, now, I got no problem with selling marijuana, no problem with corporations that want to grow it in big mega warehouses and sell it like Walmart. I got no problem with it, really. I ain't going to buy it. Maybe somebody will buy it. Maybe they'll like it, and that's cool. That's America. You want to sell that? That's great. So long as we have the right to grow our own. So long as I don't have to go to Walmart for my weed. So long as I can visit Ganja John. So long as I can visit lots of friends here, the friends in need that keep this show in weed. Absolutely, man. We've got to protect that right for home cultivation. It's our only way that we are safe from government monopoly or corporate monopoly over cannabis, of them giving us substandard strains, below average potencies, adding pesticides, contaminants, addictive qualities, whatever they might want to add. Our only protection is maintaining our independence and maintaining that bond, that direct bond between us and our healthcare, between us and nature, that does not require an intermediary in between, a middleman to make a markup and a profit, and certainly not an obscene 1,500% profit on pregnant women trying to prevent premature births. Oh boy. Thanks for joining us here. I'm Radical Russ for Ganja John. Cannabis Carry will be back tomorrow. For everyone listening on the podcast, thanks for joining us. Until next time, take care of each other, tokers.